By definition, a community is a group of people living in the same place or having a particular characteristic or interest in common. However, it still remains a very subjective concept, with a multitude of definitions that vary depending on the individual. That begs an obvious question. What are these other definitions exactly?
When I think of community, I think of there's a student community, there's always a wider community, then there's little communities within that.
I think I'd say people living in one specific area all coming together as one, helping each other out.
I guess community is just a group of people with shared beliefs, shared interests, and just a sense of belonging.
One of the most prominent communities in existence across the world today are street performers. An individual street performance can be defined as anything that has tangible entertainment value to the general public. The acts themselves generally include dancers, magicians, illusionists, and buskers. But when we as a community think about street performance in general, to what extent do we view its true modern day value?
People should be allowed to go if they've got talent and show people what they've got. We get these guys, these Polish guys that come around with pots and pans and they're doing the drum, but they're very good at it, you know what I mean? And they do make good beats. So if you've got a talent, yeah, I think you should be able to come out here and show people what you got. And if you can make money off it, then fair play to them.
I think it's a positive because it expresses different cultures that people see when they walk through the city. So they get to see what the city stands for usually.
That person's a hard worker. They're out there trying to achieve something. You know, that person could easily choose to sit on their ass and not do anything. But that person decided to go out, show their craft to the world, and try and show that person how good they are and make some money from it. It's the oldest form of marketing. It's the oldest form of self-promotion. Just going out there and hard working. And for someone to go and do that, it shows they're motivated.
The art of street performance itself has been recorded throughout communal history for the past millennium, with records dating back as early as the 11th century. Despite the diversity among acts, street performance as a whole has been generalized in Great Britain by simply referring to all performers as buskers. The term busker itself was first coined in the mid-1860s and was derived from the Spanish root word buscar, meaning to seek. Each individual performer you see on the street today has their own story for how and why they live such a unique lifestyle. And who better to tell you these stories than the performers themselves? Esther Turner, one of Birmingham's most promising young musicians, sat down with Josh to take us through her journey into street performing and her view on its importance in society today.
So what are your takes on what a community is, first of all?
I'd say community is bringing people together, people coming together, experiencing things.
Okay, now first of all I want to speak about you a little bit, about how you became into the street performing industry. So how was it you actually started off?
So I started off talking to a guy called Tony, who also busks in Birmingham, and he let me join him. So he'd do half an hour and I'd do half an hour, and we kind of swap. And he just taught me the ropes of how to busk and told me where I could stand and what equipment I needed. And then after a few years, I got my own stuff, my own equipment, and started doing it myself. And now I go to London and places.
Okay, so could you briefly explain why is it that people, not just in Birmingham but other places as well, do get into street performing? Why did you get into it, for example?
I think it's a good exposure for me as an artist, because you never know who's going to walk past in the street, and I've had a few really crazy experiences where people that I'm really fond of have walked past, and I've got I don't know, really good exposure. And yeah, I think I started just because it's a really great way to meet new people, and yeah.
Okay, and what do you think, when you're performing, how do you think it affects other people?
Well, I think it's it's entertainment at the end of the day. Like, I mean, when people walk past, it's more lively than just a normal, noisy, moody street. So yeah, I think it brings up the vibe. I mean, I love like getting a reaction, and I love it when like people start dancing, and like little kids come and stare at me, and I hope I can inspire the little kids that are watching me.
So what do your actual family and friends make of you doing busking overall, street performing?
Yeah, my family enjoy me doing busking. Like my sister's come with me a few times, brings me a coffee, and yeah, my parents at first they were a bit wary of it because obviously it's not like the most, I don't know, safe job to do, because obviously there's a lot of like homeless people, and yeah, and luckily I've never been stolen from. But yeah, I actually find that the homeless community are really great at helping me, and I mean they always check up on me. Like they walk past like, "You're right, Esther, any trouble?" And I'm like, "No, I'm all right, thanks." And then yeah, they always check up on me, and like if it starts raining, they'll help me put my equipment under shelter. And yeah, like at Christmas when it's the German market, I'll tend to do a bit of a later busk because it's just more busy, just purely because of the German market. And yeah, they always make sure I get on the bus okay, so I go home safe. But I think that's really nice.
Okay, that's brilliant. Okay, and in terms of making a living street performing, you mentioned about the positive things about being a street performer, all that. Have there been many negative things?
Yeah, I do get people saying get a real job, but I have got a real job. I think that's just people that don't really understand, because I actually have to, because I'm self-employed, I actually have to tell the taxman that I earn that money, and so I'm just like everyone else, I pay taxes. And the only other bad thing is some of the buskers can be a bit nasty, but we tend to be all understand like where each of us coming from. So if you were there first, then obviously you've first come first serve, isn't it? So yeah.
So street performing, would you say it is a way of making a living? Definitely.
100%, yeah. I mean, I'm doing it as a living, and it's my full-time job.
And how come is it that you didn't want to really partake in anything else, like i.e. university or maybe another job? Or
I didn't want to do uni. I mean, I got into Birmingham uni to do fine art, but I just thought uni isn't for me, and I'd be spending all that money on something I don't actually really want to do, when I really want to sing and I can already make a living from it. So I didn't really see the point in doing art. And I mean, I can always go in the future, and if singing didn't turn out quite how I imagined.
There's a time to wear that coat, trying to tell her that she can be more. Hold the line toe, but still don't know that I can put my foot in the door. There's a time to get around, leaving you wondering why you took a new dressing gown. I look to clouds from both sides now, Joni's by these feelings by now I can't live without. No set time, we got the air and Vanity Fair Cloud 9. In search and wanting the lion's share. No set time, we got the air and Vanity Fair Cloud 9. In search and wanting the lion's share. We came close but never know. No, we came close but never know.
Birmingham is the second largest city in the UK. It is also the youngest in terms of its population.
This accounts for 40% of the population being under 25 years old. Over 36,000 people watch musical performances by the world-famous City of Birmingham Symphony Orchestra. That's more than any other UK orchestra by this date. I spoke with local busker Steve Gardner. He has a very interesting story how he came to busk. He also volunteered to perform for us. So, first of all, I would like to ask you, what do you think is community, and like, what does community mean to you?
Community means the people that are around the area. I think community is important because community involves everybody. It involves helping, it involves charity work, it involves, if there wasn't a community, then the people that were homeless and lived on the street, we'd have nowhere to go, we'd have no one who helped us if there was no community.
So you're saying that the Baskers community has treated you well?
Yes, and the homeless community that just really strive to get by every day and try and keep each other going, basically, through the hard times of being homeless, really, yeah.
Can I ask you, what drove you to become a busker?
Because I spent some time homeless in the hostel. I bought a guitar. I've been a singer for 3 bands, and I just wanted to write some music and about my experiences that I've been through and what I felt, and hopefully people will identify with that. There's a song called Old Fashioned Values, which is basically the community in that sentence. So I've written some songs, and I hope that people like them, and I just want to take them out and see what people think, basically. Yeah.
Do you bask around Birmingham, or?
I've done Wednesbury with my friend. We've done Birmingham once and Coventry once, but I haven't really been out much. I've been writing, staying in and writing, but so it's quite a new experience for me to be out in the public and play. I mean, I've been a singer in bands with a microphone. That's easy, but with a guitar, it's a bit more. Yeah, it's a bit more daunting for me. But getting out there and doing it is what it's about.
So, the not many times when you've done it, the basking on the streets, how would you describe, how was it? Did you feel it was worth doing it? Did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed it. It was good, and people are talking to you and asking you about your songs and asking you why you're busking and stuff. And it's, it's a good experience, Street people are very much looked down upon. We're all human beings in life. Sometimes we go through bad patches and bad times in life, and we end up where we are. It doesn't mean we're any less a person. Try not to be too judgmental in life, which obviously my songs reflect as well. So yeah, I've got a few of them. Yeah.
So your songs are mainly inspired by your life story.
You could say that. And hopefully people will, listen to the lyrics and understand it. I'd say my music is for those that have lived, loved and lost, basically. You have to be of a certain age to appreciate the lyrics, I think, because you have had to have been through certain experiences. But yeah, and it's just something, it's not looking for fame and fortune, it's just something to get out there, play and enjoy it,
And apart from basking, do you have any other career, or?
Yeah, I'm a chef by trade. I'm a qualified chef by trade, but I'm not working at the moment. I've been through some anxiety and depression and everything, and finding it tough to keep a flat going after being homeless and pay bills and generally survive. A lot of my friends are falling back. They're all back on the streets again, back on the drink again. But after 2 years of not being homeless, I've managed to keep a flat going and keep going, but I'm finding it very difficult. But my music is my saviour, it's my love, so yeah.
And okay, so the basking community, do you ever meet other baskers? Do you communicate? Or?
Yeah, there's a lad called Jack Burley that plays in Coventry. He's a good lad. He plays with 4 strings and a pencil for a capo. But he's brilliant and he still keeps going. And and I think it's a valuable thing to have. I think if you was to walk through the city centre and there was no music or nobody playing or no one entertaining or anything like that, and everyone was just dreary and walked past and never spoke to each other and always looked at the phones and never give anybody else the time of day, I think it'd be a very sad world, to be honest.
Ed Sheeran famously started his career as a busker, from his Nando's Skank with Example to his #1 single Shape of You that stayed in the charts for over 11 weeks. There was clearly a benefit to being in the public eye as a busker.
Esther has gained considerable mainstream attention across the West Midlands, including over 10,000 likes on her Facebook page and nearly 20,000 views on her YouTube channel. However, for many, busking is as much about survival as it is their love of music.